for a good 2 weeks. We were riding a nice high, and prices looked like they were not coming down. Bitcoin was riding high, alts were riding high, and I just knew it was too good to be true. The powers that be didn't want to see this, didn't want to see us to go strong, and I get it. But they can't stop what's going to happen come 2025, into 2024, 2025. So there's a lot of FUD that's going on right now. CZ stepped down, and we've been hearing rumblings about Binance for a while now. For a while, just things are creeping in. First in U.S. they stopped taking fiat on ramps. Then it was, you could trade crypto only, and that was the start of it. And then you heard in Canada and different parts of the country, in the world rather, Binance was ceasing operations. So something like this was bound to happen, but it's crazy how quickly it happened, and the fine was astronomical, and we're going to get into that. And Binance is not the only one. That's why I think all of this was coordinated. You had Kraken, and then you had another exchange, not as big as the others, that ceased and closed operations. So I think it's coordinated, but let's go through the video. And I'm gonna let you go through my thoughts of why I think this is coordinated, but we should never give up hope. If there's coordinated attacks and they're trying to fear people out the market, it's because they want what you have. Right now, we are early. We're going to continue to DCA. This is a gift right now. When prices were high, we wish we had more. Now prices have calmed down. This is when we want to DCA into your favorite projects. So let's get into it, guys. If you like the video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more of the content, subscribe to the channel. Man, let's get into it. It's crazy, 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 crazy. So if we look at this, we see a sea of red, right? Sea of red. Most people would be panicking right now, but you and I, who are DCAers, we love this. We're welcoming all of this. Solana was at 60, now it's at 52. Look at ADA at 36 cents. Binance has gone down 10% right now at 228 bucks. Just deals all the way around. AVAX, Avalanche is under 20 bucks. So just good deals. But let's see what happened, man. This is crazy. So today, Binance and CZ, basically he stepped down today as being CEO of the Binance chain, Binance project, and basically they held a lot of crypto. This is why I think this is coordinated and strategic. But CZ confirmed everything. Today he tweeted that he stepped down as CEO of Binance. Admittedly, it was not an easy to let go emotionally, but I know it is the right thing to do. I made mistakes and I must take responsibility. This is the best for our community, for Binance, and for myself. Binance is no longer a baby. It is time for me to let it walk and run. I know Binance will continue to grow and excel with deep bench it has. And then he goes on to talk about the new CEO. You can read that if at your leisure. Then he goes on to say what's next for him. At first, he's going to take a break. I have had not a single day off for real since the last 6.5 years, which is crazy. After that, he's thinking that he'll probably do some passive investing, being a minority token shareholder in startups in areas of blockchain, Web3, DeFi, AI, and biotech. I'm happy that I will finally have more time to spend looking at DeFi. I can't see myself being a CEO driving a startup again. I'm content being a one-shot lucky entrepreneur. Should there be any listeners, I may be open to being a coach mentor to a small number of upcoming entrepreneurs privately. If for nothing else, I can at least tell them what not to do. And then he goes on to say that he's proud to point out that in their resolutions with the U.S. agency, they do not allege that Binance misappropriated any user funds, which is what FTX was accused of, or SBF, and do not allege that Binance engaged in any market manipulation. He also goes on to say that if your funds are in Binance, they are safe. But hopefully in the US, you probably got all your stuff out of there because, basically there was no fiat on ramp. And also around the world, if you've been paying attention to the tea leaves, you probably playing it safe and get your stuff off of the exchanges. In any event, whether it's Binance, Coinbase, Gemini, whatever the case is, you get your stuff and you take it off the exchange. You put it on a cold wallet, hot wallet, whatever the case may be. You're in control of your funds in case anything like this were to happen. God forbid that you have control of it and no one else has custody of your coins. So that's what's going on with Binance right now, which is pretty sad in my opinion. But let's go on to hear what the DOJ, Merrick Garland, had to say about the Binance and the indictment and everything that took place today.
Instead, they concluded that complying with U.S. law would stifle. Instead, they concluded that complying with U.S. law would stifle their efforts to grow Binance's profits, market share, and trading volume. So, rather than comply, Binance facilitated billions of dollars of unregulated cryptocurrency transactions. It willfully enabled hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions between American users and users subject to U.S. sanctions. And its platform accommodated criminals across the world who use Binance to move their stolen funds and other criminal proceeds. Binance prioritized its profits over the safety of the American people. In part because of the crimes it committed, Binance became the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world. Now, Binance is paying one of the largest corporate penalties in U.S. history. Binance employees knew and discussed that the company was serving thousands of users in sanctioned countries. And they knew that facilitating transactions between U.S. users and users in sanctioned countries would be in violation of U.S. law. But they did it anyway. Binance enabled nearly $900 million in transactions between U.S. and Iranian users. And it facilitated millions of dollars in transactions between U.S. users and users in Syria and in the Russian-occupied Ukrainian regions of Crimea, Donetsk, and Luhansk. Binance's own compliance personnel also knew that the company's anti-money laundering procedures were inadequate and would attract criminals to the platform. In a February 2019 chat, one compliance employee wrote that they needed a banner that said, quote, "Is washing drug money too hard these days? Come to Binance. We got cake for you." By failing to comply with U.S. law, Binance made it easy for criminals to move their stolen funds and illicit proceeds on its exchanges. For example,
So that's what they go on to say about that. So if we take a look at price action, given this crazy news with Binance, how is BNB doing? And we touched upon it a little bit in the beginning of this video, but you see that now in the 24-hour is down 11%. So the current price of BNB is $226. And how has it impacted the market? You saw in the beginning of this video, we saw a sea of red. Not major dips, but it's not the gains that we were seeing in the past 2 weeks. Current crypto market caps at 1.3 trillion is down almost 3%. Bitcoin dominance still at 52% and ETH at 17. But overall, if we look at what's going on, Bitcoin's only down about 2.8%, ETH down 3.9%. Again, good buying opportunity to get ETH under 2,000. XRP is down a little bit, 24-hour down 5%. Solana, I think, is a good opportunity. My sniping, I'm looking to get Solana probably anywhere in the 30s if I can. And Cardano's down to 36 cents. Again, good deals all the way around. But I won't get into that. Today we're talking about what's going on in the market. So CZ and Binance has agreed to pay $4.3 billion to settle the U.S. criminal case based on what was outlined by Merrick Garland in the video we just looked at. And also, he has to resign as CEO, which we just confirmed with this tweet, and he has to plead guilty in Seattle. Holy moly, $4.3 billion. So also, prior to this announcement, people were speculating and seeing the movement of major wallets on Binance, and they saw that, there was $3.9 billion that was moved around in Tether, and kind of confirmed that, because the number of 4 billion was being thrown around, that Binance was going to issue payment for this fine and possibly just, be done with it. Although there was no court case or anything like that, and they weren't, technically found guilty, paying such a big fine like this and him resigning and everything like that is probably admitting guilt, right? So it's definitely not a good look for CZ and Binance. Not at all. Also, CZ, he also said that as part of Binance exit from FTX, or basically let me backtrack. What I think led to this, because CZ was basically at the forefront of the FTX debacle and the collapse of FTX. And we know that FTX, has, or Simon SBF, Simon Banker Fried, basically had his upbringing and educational background at MIT, which is also where Mr. Gensler, SEC head, where he also taught. And we also know that he was rubbing heads with politicians and everything like that. And I think he had big plans and was basically outlining big plans for crypto and U.S. government. And that got all thrown away. And I think CZ was the spearhead of that. And ever since that happened and FTX collapsed, they kind of blame him for that. And I think ever since then, there's been like a bullseye on CZ's back and Binance in general. And here is that tweet that started everything, right? He said, as a part of Binance exit from FTX liquidity last year, Binance received roughly 2.1 billion in USD equivalent in cash, BUSD and FTT. Due to recent revelations that have come to light, we have decided to liquidate any remaining FTT on our books. After that happened, you just saw the price of FTT go down and then just domino effect. And we saw what happened to SBF last month as far as his verdict goes and being found guilty. So I think that happened. And then you know that FTX basically was cool. One of the big backers of Simon SBF and FTX was Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful himself. And almost everything they talked about, every interview, whenever crypto came up, you better be sure that he mentioned Binance and CZ. I think that it was bigger players involved. I think all of this coordinated. And I'm not saying Binance didn't do anything wrong, but I think after the whole FTX, after that went down, it was a wrap. Their main goal was to take Binance down, and I think they pretty much accomplished it. They didn't take the chain down, but I think it's a bad name on Binance right now, and it's a black eye to the project for sure. Yep, that's what happened with that. So I saw this, and I thought this was very interesting, and it's probably tying everything together as far as my thoughts on coordination and that this was planned. Travis Kling said, and this is from June 16th of 2023. That's the biggest thing, guys, I want you to take away from this. It's from June 16th, and we're now in November, end of November. Lots of chatter on this BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, and rightfully so. BlackRock, more or less, is the U.S. government. They've also received approval on 575 of 576 ETF applications. One thing I'll say is that there is no chance, I mean zero, that this ETF is approved with Binance in its current position of market dominance. If this ETF is approved, Binance is either gone entirely. Binance is either gone entirely, I repeat, or their role in price discovery is massively diminished. If Binance holds on its current level of influence, no chance ETF is approved. Voila, guys, voila. Another tweet. Now, this is from Mike Alfred on Twitter. He said, now that CZ and Binance have been removed from the field, the SEC can improve the spot ETF, and BlackRock, Fidelity, Invesco, and other large players can take over. This is how the game is played. There you go, guys. We went from a decentralized platform, whether they're doing everything legit or not. Now we're moving into possibly control being into the big players. So there are positives to this. Lots of liquidity, a lot of money coming into the crypto space. But then again, that decentralized thing that we're talking about that we fought so hard for, are we seeing this slip away with this kind of move? And the reason I say that, because you look at Binance, they're not a small player. They were the major player as far as spot centralized exchanges or decentralized exchanges go. They were bigger than Coinbase. Anyone that you could think of, they were bigger than that. According to Techopedia, I can't speak today, Techopedia, top 10 Bitcoin holders who owns the most BTC. Obviously, you have Satoshi, right? But then, let's take a look at this here. Who owns the most Bitcoin, right? Look at number one, 248,000 BTC. A wallet linked to Binance holds about 8.5 billion worth of Bitcoin as of the 31st of October of this year. That's no small thing, right? Then you go to number 4. Another Binance linked wallet holds 3.9 billion worth of BTC. Then you anonymous. And then number 9, you see that is another wallet linked to a Binance BTC reserve holding of 2.3 billion Bitcoin. So guys, they when you attack someone, you go for the head, right? You go for one of the big players, and SEC has lost a couple, right? They lost against Ripple in their case. I think there's one thing pending, but most of the counts were dismissed basically. And then you have Grayscale. They lost that one as well, as far as not approving the spot Bitcoin ETF. So I would say, Gary's had some egg on his face for a while, but he just got 4 billion or whatever the case is with from Binance. He's probably going to get something from Kraken, and we're going to talk about them next. But for all the L's he's taken, he's made some money, right? He's made some money for the government. So next, SEC sues Kraken exchange over failure to register. Failure to register. That's what they got sued for. So it's interesting because basically they sue them for running an unregistered crypto exchange and selling under unregistered securities. Kind of the same thing that they said against Ripple, and they lost. So we'll see how that plays out. Kraken plans to defend this. They're saying that basically, and they use the Ripple case as a predecessor, as possibly case law, to say that no, that's not the truth. And we'll see what happens with that. So basically, SEC charged Kraken with operating an unregistered securities exchange, broker, dealer, and clearing agency. It also basically similar charges against crypto exchanges like Binance, Bitrex, and Coinbase earlier this year. The lawsuit alleges that Kraken commingled customer crypto assets and cash reserves with their own holdings. Earlier this year, Kraken paid a $30 million settlement for charges related to its staking as a service offering. So it's crazy, right? Like I told you, he's catching some wins. He got $4 billion recently, Binance will pay. Earlier this year, he got $30 million, and now he's going back after him again, probably trying to get more money. So you can't tell me earlier this year when they filed this initial case that they didn't know about all this. They knew about it. Why couldn't they included that in their charges at the first time? But they did not. It's all a game, guys. They're playing chess right now, and they seem to be winning as far as what they're trying to do. But for the small players like you and I, we're just going to continue to DCA, ignore the FUD, continue to focus on these projects that are building during the bear market, and we'll see what happens, right? But that's what's going on with Kraken, so some more FUD. And basically, the way Kraken responded, they said that SEC has already tried this, and the court has rejected it outright, referring to the Ripple case. The SEC argued that case regarding digital assets bought and sold on trading platforms were really security transactions. The federal court of Southern District of New York disagreed, ruling that SEC failed entirely to satisfy the relevant legal tests. The court held that SEC's unprecedented legal theory was contrary to the economic reality of such transactions. The SEC's case against Kraken will fail too, and for the same reasons. So as it stands right now, it's looking like they will defend. They already paid $30 million, so let's hope they fight the good fight. The results of the Ripple case gives them some confidence, and I hope they don't cave and settle. But we'll see what happens. Then lastly, we have Bitrex, and they were mentioned earlier. SEC also filed a case against them earlier this year. Unfortunately, I don't know if they didn't have the funds or whatever the case may be, they are going to shut down as of December 4th. Basically, it said all trading on the platform will be disabled on December 4th, several months after Bitrex U.S. arm filed for bankruptcy and stopped operations. So we hate to see it, right? Hate to see it. So it said the shutdown follows Bitrex U.S. May filing for bankruptcy in Delaware after it and Bitrex Global were sued by the SEC for allegedly operating National Securities Exchange without right approvals. So they reached a settlement of $24 million with the SEC. Do you see a pattern, guys? We file a lawsuit against you, you pay instead of going all the way to a verdict, and we're just collecting money. And a lot of these companies cannot afford to pay those type of big fines. CZ, they can foot it. And Binance, they can foot it. Coinbase, they can foot it if it comes to it. And Ripple obviously has the reserves to do that. But these other ones don't. And that's where we're at right now currently with these people, man. So in closing, guys, listen. Ignore the FUD. You know, pay attention though. If anything, this is teaching us to, when you purchase your crypto on these exchanges, you take it off, you put it on a cold or hot wallet, and you control your crypto. Continue to DCA. That's what I'm doing into favorite projects. And situations like this, it's a gift. For me, it's a gift. You know, when things were going up, I wished I got more when they were cheaper. Now we're heading down to the cheaper phase. It's a deal. Black Friday is coming up on Friday, so we have Black Friday or Black Thursday for crypto, and I like it. I definitely enjoy it. Um, you know, guys, right now, I think it's, you know, whatever it is, we're going to be sitting around holidays talking with family, and they're probably going to ask about crypto if you're into crypto. And this is the highlight. This is the headline right now. They're going to talk about fraud and all of this. But guys, know what you're investing in. You know that we're investing in the future. We're so early, definitely innovators. And at the end, we will be having the last laugh. So guys, I hope you liked the video. Please hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content. I'll talk to you later. Bye.